Russia and China outpacing the United States in the development of super-fast missile technology. This, according to the Pentagon. Now, U.S. lawmakers are pushing for more investment in these so-called hypersonics, along with missile defense. Here now to discuss our Fox News correspondent, Lee Gabriel, who's also a former U.S. Navy fighter pilot, along with John Venable, a former Air Force Thunderbirds commander. I'm going to start with the Air Force first for personal reasons. John, you know, we've seen video of this, and we saw Vladimir Putin boasting that America can't touch him, that he could hit any spot in this country with these hypersonic missiles.
Charles, great to be with you. The hypersonics do present a different challenge. Mach 5 and above, most likely in the range of Mach 8 to Mach 20, and Mach 20 is 200 miles a minute, to give you an order of magnitude. It's not just the speed with which they fly, it's the altitude, which is in between our two layers of coverage, the standard inner atmosphere missile and then the ballistic missile trajectory. This flies right in the layer in between, makes them hard to track and hard to hit.
So should we start building bomb shelters, Leah?
Well, first, I just want to say thanks for saving the Navy gold wings. And cheers to you, John. Just teasing. So look, our U.S. military is also working on developing these weapons, and some would say that we're sort of in an arms race at this point. You know, when you talk about our national defense and our strategy, the idea is to keep the enemy and their ability to strike us with their weapons far away from our shores. Traditionally, we've done that by having aircraft carriers, Navy ships, submarines around the world so that we have sovereign U.S. territory with the ability to launch missiles, the ability to shoot missiles down, and the ability to launch aircraft into regions using our Navy. Well, this changes the game because this allows you, as John was just saying, to launch long-range missiles very quickly, and they're very hard to detect, to track, and to kill. So it's very important that we're all working on developing this technology.
When was the last time we were behind another country in the development of a weapon potentially this dangerous? I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it goes back to what I was just saying about our Navy and how we've been able to keep the enemy off of our shores, because that's essentially our first layer of defense, is not allowing those missiles and those weapons to be able to enter into our airspace. And that's the concern here is, you know, China is developing a carrier killer weapon, and they're trying to use these for that type of technology. Russia is said to be using this for nuclear technology. We're said to be doing this for conventional weapons. So they're not really coming into a fair fight with the way they're developing their technology.
Right. And you know, John, this report out with the Russian fighter jets buzzing U.S. spy planes over the Baltic Sea. It feels again that China, with their new aircraft carriers, you know, certainly ahead of schedule there. Russia, these nations are posing the sort of military threat that I think a lot of Americans are taking for granted, that we thought they wouldn't exist anymore. We thought we won all those military battles and we never faced that kind of a foe again.
Charles, there's two sides of this. One is these intercepts have been going on for years. In 2016, there were over 600 intercepts in and around the Baltic region. We're professional with it. By and large, the Russians are professional with it. That side of this is just kind of standard operating procedure. But you're right. Things are heating up, and we've got to prepare ourselves as a nation. And each of the services has got to rekey our mechanisms to be ready for that major force-on-force battle.
Leah?
Our military leaders are saying that our greatest threat to our national security now is the competition of larger world powers right now. I didn't term it exactly right there, but that's basically the issue, the rising China, the rising Russia. And when we see Russia being wily in this international airspace and trying to threaten us in unprofessional ways, because they're saying that some of these intercepts they're doing are unprofessional, meaning they act threatening in the way they do them, it's showing a rising Russia.
What about the emboldenedness of China, man-made islands? Then they've militarized them. I mean, they're acting in a more belligerent way, it feels to me.
They certainly are, and that's why it's so important that we as the United States military continue to patrol our ships.